So as Zambians, we need to have a very serious conversations with ourselves. Where do we want to go? How are we going to be feeding ourselves? That's question number one. You can't be using a center pivot in 2025 to be growing crops. That is wastage of water. Drip irrigation is the way to go. Go to Israel. They have 20 meters of tomatoes in just a small house, producing their 6 million, they produce food for 25 million. We are 20 million producing food for 2 people. Thank you very much.
Let me tell you one thing, us Africans, we normally leave the most important things to just before lunch. And when we are signing loans with the IMF and everyone, they make sure that the negotiations are done just before lunch. And then people stop listening and they're just waiting for the lunch. And by the time they are realizing, they sign that we are selling Zesto. So, Zambia is a country, and I have more than 5 years because it's still coming. So Zambia is a country, and I think that when you look at Zambia, these economic problems, the main problem that we face is that we don't understand why the country exists. So before countries started existing, people were living in families, isolated, and it was not that those that could come together to form communities would attack and raid the other families that were living isolated and steal their produce, their food, or the things that they would harvest from hunting. So because of that, communities came together and formed larger communities, kingdoms, and they became countries, or they became kingdoms, and the prince came into Zambia. And they joined various kingdoms and we became a country.
So we are a country, or we exist not by choice, but for a purpose. The main reason that we exist for is for us to be able to help each other develop. So if we are living together and we are not seeing any development, then there's a very, very big problem in the way we are relating towards each other. The topic that I'm going to discuss today is about small, medium enterprises, SMEs. So SMEs form the backbone of any economy.
So the main reason why we respect for country is created on the backbone of small and medium enterprises. So when you look at Zambia in particular, I'll just be speaking figures. So when you look at Zambia in particular, you're going to find that we have over 110,000, not about 110,000 SMEs that are currently paying taxes to the Zambia Revenue Authority, and those SMEs that are paying taxes, more than 50% of them operate in Lusaka. We have about 900,000 registered. Some continue falling off, so there are a lot of intents to do business, but people do not start doing business. Unfortunately, for Zambia, we have not seen deliberate policies that are aimed at protecting or promoting people to do business. I would like to tell you that, unfortunately, the old models that we used to have, where you had big factories that could create huge districts, like the one shot created by our own division of HCCM, Mufulira by Mufulira division, Kana by Kana division, and so on and so forth. Kabwe by Kasiwe by Kasiwe takes on the night of Jintel, because those are very big factors that create livelihoods around the people that live. So where we are going now, we are going to do an advanced service-based economy where we are going to have predominantly small companies employing not more than 5 people. I would like to tell you that Google last year sent home 20,000 employees and employed only one person. That person took poaching from wherever he was posted Apple, Google, $2 billion. Why? Because artificial intelligence is doing everything. Even when I'm not to
come and present at any conference, I no longer spend maybe 2 weeks researching or what. I just use artificial intelligence. I just say, can you give me the structure of this presentation? It gives me the structure, then I start feeding in information that I need. That's how we do. So for me to prepare to present something, it just takes me about an hour. Sometimes as I'm driving, I can just ask somebody to drive me and I'll prepare my presentation and all of you are going to be clapping. But what is happening in Zambia? In Zambia, unfortunately, we don't have conditions that, that exist to promote business development. The first problem is the number of regulators that we have in the Republic. We have a regulator for anything. So there was a previous speaker, he's an architect. He regulates the architects. And if you are an architect in Zambia, before finding a job, you need to pay to his institution. So you need to pay somebody, but there's no service that is coming to your way. So if you are dealing with the mines or any other program, you need to go to ZEMA. If you are employing a human resource manager, that person has to, there's a human resource management, association. If you're an accountant, there's ZICA. If you are a lawyer, there's Law Association of Zambia. If there's an association or a regulator for each and every building. I'm an entrepreneur myself and I employ people. I have never received a phone call from government authorities or agencies that have been created to support business growth to say, we have noticed that in your account today, you don't, this month, you don't have enough money to pay your employees. How are we going to help you to run away from NAPSA, NIMA, ZEMA, NIM, all these other payments that you need to make before the 14th of each month? They don't care. Whether you have money or not, you need to pay NAPSA. Whether you have money or not, you need to pay ZRDC. To a level whereby entrepreneurs in this room know that before even paying salaries, because you are scared of penalties, you are going to send money to ZRDC. And after that, maybe on the 20th, that's when you are going to pay salaries that were due on the 30th the previous month. Such is the society where we are living. We are basically living like, when a child is born, for the lack of a better term, the child doesn't have a mother to look after them. So in such situations, economies cannot grow. What I'm talking about is strictly science. Economics is a science. I'm not mentioning any political parties, any government, so please understand it the way I'm talking about. And then access to finance. For example,
when you look at Zambia, Zambia's from over 16 banks that we have, Zambia banks only 2. That is
NATSEF, which is actually not a bank, it's a savings institution. So the commercial banks, if you didn't know, then there's that intermarket something, which took over a Zambian-owned Invest Bank. That's all. The rest are owned by foreigners. Now what that happens that over 80% of your bank assets are controlled by foreign nationals. Meaning you people, even the little savings that you have, they are kept by foreigners. Then you come to the mining sector. The mining sector, 95% of it is controlled by foreigners. For us, when I hear that Mingomba miners come, I cry. Why? Because I don't know who the owner is, in which street they live, where their bank is, and everything. So whatever is going to be happening is that whatever they mine, the monies are going to go out. The whole country was lined up from Katimamlilo up to Sorwezi, watching a cooler box. That's the level of the country. So, for you to understand from the economic perspective, what that cooler box means. That cooler box means that until that mine that brought that cooler box mines minerals more than the amount that we have declared that that thing costs, they won't pay you taxes. That's what it means. When you hear a mining investor, FDI, say, we have invested $5 billion, you are clapping. Why are you clapping? Because until they mine $5 billion worth of minerals, you are not going to get anything. Foreign direct investment. Foreign direct investment is where, sorry to use this example, where you are a man, you have a wife, and you want to have children with them. Then you say, there's going to be some handsome man somewhere who's going to impregnate my wife. Let me wait. But the wife is there. Why can't you do the job yourself? That is exactly what we are doing as Zambians. We are just in Ndui, waiting for somebody to invest in our agriculture sector, in our mining industry. Somebody has switched off the mic. Don't worry, this is a free country. And I can shout, I'm a lecturer. Yeah, my mic is off. So that is basically what is happening in the Republic of Zambia. We have no plan on how to develop. Half of my children are not Zambian citizens. The other side that they belong to, when they were born, they were given, I think, something like a certain amount of US dollars, yeah, equivalent, maybe $500, $600. When the second child was born, they gave money to help to buy a flat. They are trying to develop the population. But in Zambia, yes, we are encouraging the population. But as that country is doing those sorts of things, growing the economy, they are providing or building infrastructure towards supporting of that population. Now let's come back to Zambia. When you go to Luanshya, for example, the same buildings that the British built are the ones that are still there. To a level whereby you will watch so much social media to start saying you can't eat infrastructure. My friend, you were about 12 billion in 2010. Now you have 20 million. You are 12 million in 2010. Now you are 21 million. In 2030, you are going to be 35 million. Which hospitals are you going to go to? If you have no infrastructure, which roads are you going to go to? So as we reflect on the development of SMEs businesses, why SMEs and what I'm talking about? Because there will be no more companies to employ us. In fact, the banking system, my specialty is banking and finance. Banks, the way we know them, are dying. MTN very soon is getting a banking license, meaning the same company, because you don't want to be going everywhere. You have units, you have your money, everything is your mobile phone company. There's a bank that I have an account with a certain bank where I landed at the airport. They asked me for my passport. I gave them the details. They said which hotel I was going to stay. I told them. They brought me the card the following day. I don't know where that, the headquarters of that bank, they only have, I think, one office in each city, small office. Everything is done using the ATMs and cashless money. So this is where we are going. Artificial intelligence, that's where we are going. If we are not going to take advantage of things like artificial intelligence, if we are not going to be thinking advanced, then we are not going to go anywhere. You cannot compete. For example, for your company to make a report on how much you earned the previous quarter, you are going to have 5 accountants doing that. For me, I'll just go on paid up ChatGPT. I'm going to say, I'm going to download my financials and just say, can you give an analysis of that? Give me the payback period of this investment, give me return on investment on assets and so on and so forth. It's going to do within a minute. You are going to have accountants that are going to be on Mother's Day, Leave Day, gratuities, pensions. So how are you going to do it? How are you going to compete? Professor Chilwa rightly put it. Zema, up to now, you still have to go in the field to go and check the type of developments or the water or anything. Up to now, the map of Zambia was done 200 years ago, and up to now, you don't know what is where. To a level whereby ZRDC, Zambia Revenue Authority, can't even tax the mines. So as Zambians, we need to have a very serious conversations with ourselves. Where do we want to go? How are we going to be feeding ourselves? That's question number one. You can't be using a center pivot in 2025 to be growing crops. That is wastage of water. Drip irrigation is the way to go. Go to Israel. They have 20 meters of tomatoes in just a small house, producing their 6 million, they produce food for 25 million. We are 20 million producing food for 2 people. Thank you very much.